And we are live. Hello, one and all, and welcome to this live video review for SmackDown Live. We're going to take a look at the February 28th, 2017 edition of SmackDown Live. There's a lot to talk about. We have a lot of ground to cover. As you all know, we are officially on the road to WrestleMania. We are only roughly 4.5 weeks away, so it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. And speaking of wrestling fans, I have a special guest on my channel today. I've been talking to him for a while now. His name's Jay. His full YouTube channel name is Talking WWE with Jay. Jay, it's great to have you on the channel here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been a fan of wrestling, and it's just great to have you here on the channel. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks. Yeah, guys, quickly, wrestling fan since 2004. But I've been doing the radio host since 2012. You can find my channel as well on YouTube if you're searching Talking WWE with Jay. So I am Jay, and I'm the host of that show. So we do have weekly shows. You guys can keep updates with us as well if you feel free to subscribe.
Awesome. So without further ado, before I get into my thoughts, what were your overall thoughts on this episode of SmackDown Live tonight? I mean, because I was just blown away by it. I thought it was a tremendous show. It had a great flow. It was just great segments, great matches. I don't mean to talk it up like SmackDown so much better than Raw, but the difference in quality is just astounding. I mean, this show felt like a show on the road to WrestleMania, something that Raw, to me, has not been able to consistently do the past 2 years. It felt like Raw has been awful on the road to WrestleMania. This show felt like it had purpose. This show felt like it was leading somewhere. This show set the groundwork, the framework for what is to come April 2nd, and it got me even more excited, which is what a show is supposed to do. It's not supposed to get me less excited like Raw did for Fastlane, which bravo to Raw. Somehow that's even possible, but I was just blown away by this show. I really was. Just outstanding stuff. So without further ado, let's get into the first segment. We had Miz TV, and boy, oh boy, was this a great segment or what? This was the Miz at his best, and I'd have to say Cena at his best. I thought these two were on point. These two were spitting, trading, jabs back at each other. The Miz calling out John Cena for being a phony, a fraud, a hypocrite, pretty much saying, you told The Rock all this stuff, like you go away, you go to Hollywood, but now Cena, you're pretty much doing the same old crap. He cut Cena's mic off. I mean, wow. Miz, he continues to have a career renaissance. Who would have thought? Ever since The Miz, I keep saying it, since he's been drafted to SmackDown Live, it's been amazing for him. He's just completely flipped the script, and somehow, some way, WWE was able to get me excited for a mixed tag team match between John Cena and Nikki Bella taking on the Miz and Maryse. I didn't think it was possible, but this segment certainly sold me on it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. My words aren't doing justice. It was that damn good. Jay, what did you think about this opening segment, Miz TV with Miz and John Cena?
Yeah, I thought it served its purpose. The Miz TV, Miz is always great. He's from Cleveland just like I am, so I give him props there. Now, they both did a great job. I feel like it is the same thing, but, the Miz, Cena, you're a Hollywood star and things like that. The same concept as AJ Styles and John Cena, what they did in their feud, just a few months back. However, Cena had the little his response to the Miz and say, you stole this from Ric Flair, you stole this from AJ Styles, you are just a remake of this, and you're a dude inside of a dude, dressing like a dude to be another dude. Now that was a good line, because if he is trying to be like everybody else, do you know what you are, who you're dressing like, who you're trying to be like? But what it is, guys, is John Cena and Nikki Bella versus Maryse and The Miz were in the talks. It was rumored to be on the WrestleMania card, and it looks like that's going to be exactly it. Because we got right, I guess, I don't know if you want to get into it, but Nikki Bella came out there. Maryse, has some things to say. You were never being my man. This is my husband. You wish you was half for him, and slap John Cena. That was predictable. However, Nikki Bella coming out there, and what she said was what Steve said, line of the night probably. You mess with my man, I'm a oh gosh, what was it? I had a tweet.
She'll break her.
Yeah, I'll break your B. And excuse me, I didn't want to say the word. So
That's
that
all
was
right.
great. And everybody just on Twitter ran with it, and it was good. And it's to start something good. So everything, was great as far as the opening promo.
Absolutely. I mean, man, it went almost, what, 23 minutes? But usually I bitch and moan about, oh, this promo went on and on and on and it drags, which we usually see on Raw. But here I felt like it was a long promo, but it went by like that. Like there was substance. Like you said, The Miz cutting down John Cena. John Cena, like, glad you brought this up, calling out The Miz for pretty much being a clone of everybody else, I thought was great. And then, Marie slapping John Cena was predictable, but we saw it coming. And then Nikki came down, called her a bitch. So I had a feeling that they would be able to tell a good story because the writing on SmackDown is 10 times better. And I have to say, I am looking more forward to this feud compared to mostly everything else on Raw. Compared to what we're getting on Raw, I am looking 10 times more forward to this mixed tag match between Cena, Nikki, Maurice, and Miz. You asked me that before this segment. I was a little lukewarm on it, but we'll see where it goes. Maybe Cena will propose to Nikki Bella. That's the rumor out there. We'll have to see. Anything else you want to say about this segment before we move on to the next?
It was fantastic. So we're ready to go on to the other parts that was great about SmackDown.
Yes, we have our first match of the evening. It was a pretty solid 2 out of 3 falls match between Becky Lynch and Mickie James. They traded falls back and forth. Solid work here. You've seen their last couple matches. They've been good. I've enjoyed the mini feud that they've had going on between, since Mickie James returned. They had their first match at the Elimination Chamber, following match SmackDown 2 weeks ago, and now we round things out here with the falls count anywhere, or just not falls count anywhere. 2 out of 3 falls match. I believe Mickie got the first fall after she, let's see here, was it with the Mick kick? I want to say. No, it was the DDT to score the first pinfall, and eventually Becky was able to even things up with the second fall. She connected with the Bexploder and suplex. Alexa Bliss would eventually come down to the ring after the falls were even up at 1-1. It looks like she might have gotten involved, attempting to get involved here, but Mickie attempted to go for the Mick kick, but Becky was able to counter with the side slam. And as Becky had Mickie in the pinning position, Alexa tried to get up on the ring apron, as I said, tried to distract Becky. Becky knocked Alexa off the ring apron, and Mickie attempted to go for the roll-up, and Becky countered with the disarmer, locked it in, made Mickie tap out. Becky wins the match, 2 falls to 1. What do you think about this match, and do you see the possibility of a 6-pack challenge featuring talent like Alexa Bliss, Natalya, who we saw some heat between Alexa and Natalya? We'll get into that later on. Becky, Mickie, Carmella, maybe Naomi as well. What do you think? What do you think they're going to do with the women at WrestleMania for SmackDown wise?
Yeah, the 6-pack challenge sounds about right. Okay, it's the only thing to do. And unfortunately, the women on Raw, Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, they're pretty stacked. On SmackDown, it's a little different, but with Natty, like you said, confronting Alexa, hey, you're only the champion until I take it away from you.
Mm-hmm.
You got, Becky, who just defeated Mickie, so she has every right to be in the title spot. Naomi, she just had to forfeit the title, so if she's back in time, she has every right to be in the match. Why not add Mickie James in that match just to add some star power? So I feel like you need to have all the women, a battle royal or the 6-pack challenge sounds fine, because it shouldn't be a one-on-one match or just a triple threat. It seems like Raw might do a fatal 4-way, so they need to up their ante, right, and just add more female. Have the entire roster kind of go after Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania. But as far as the matches are concerned, I thought it was a good match. Mickie got the first fall, and then Becky got the next 2 falls. Of course, at the end with the cool reversal to apply that armbar to Mickie James and making her tap out. Even though Alexa Bliss came out there for the distraction, allowed Becky still to get the upper hand, the momentum, and walking away victorious. So to see a 2 out of 3 falls with women's is great. We know Becky has been going back and forth, but you don't see that a lot. You don't see that. Oh, like we seen a false count anywhere with Sasha and Charlotte back last year, but for SmackDown to do it and do it with these two women is phenomenal, and the match served its purpose as well. In this case, with another thumbs up for this match as well.
Exactly. This show just kept on rolling. Like you said, we did have going a little bit out of order here, but like you said, we had Alexa Bliss being interviewed backstage. Of course, Natalya came over. She laid claim to the women's championship picture. So that's why I think we could potentially see a six-pack challenge. The reason why I advocate for the six-pack challenge is it gets all women involved. See, Nikki Bella, she's going to be involved in the mixed tag along with Maurice. So you think it could possibly be Natalya, Alexa Bliss, maybe Naomi if she can make it back. If Naomi can't, you could do a fatal five-way. I mean, there are a number of different options here, but I think the six-pack would be the best way to go because to me, the SmackDown Live women's division is blowing Raw's women's division out of the water. Why? The main reason for me is it has depth, more depth compared to Raw. We don't always see the same matches. We sometimes do, but at least they have a purpose behind it. They're not just matches, to be a random match. And, all the women are really given the opportunity to succeed and have their own characters and move up and down the card, likewise. And that's why I prefer the SmackDown women's division compared to the Raw women's division. You feel the same way about the divisions?
As far as the women's division is concerned, I feel like Raw the women's division is a little bit better. Now, I understand we're using the same women, and on SmackDown, it's kind of the same way. Alexa's been in the title scene, so it's Becky, and then Mickey is adding there. So I feel like they're both kind of could be equal. I mean, they're using the same talent. Over we just see Becky and Alexa, and then we kept seeing Charlotte and Sasha. So that was nothing. But then now this year we're changing things up. Bayley's the champion. Naomi was the champion. Naomi had to drop the champion. Belt. So they're both kind of working on the same path here. But as far as talent, I'm looking at the women there with Charlotte and Sasha and Nia Jax, one of my favorites. Bayley, I feel like their division is stacked over there on the Raw.
Okay, fair enough. Fair points. Good points right there. Let's see. Next up, we had Luke Harper. He cut a nice little backstage promo. I really feel like we're getting to know more and more of Luke Harper as a character, which we really haven't up until this point. He said he's always been fighting a constant battle with the demon inside, and he's made peace with them now. Now they help him because he has new eyes, and he can see what true evil is. Harper is no longer afraid of Bray Wyatt. When Harper wins tonight and earns his chance to face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, Bray will be very scared. And Bray Wyatt cut a promo as well. And if you don't mind, I'm going to attempt to do this in my Bray Wyatt imitation voice. Here I go. May the best man win. The whole world will want to hear what he has to say tonight. Bray will be joined by his brother Randy Orton. Glory be to me, the holder of the Holy Grail. The God you know is Bray Wyatt. So there you go. There's my Bray. It just morphed into Bray Wyatt, morphed back out. Thank you, Bray, for coming on the channel. It was great to have you. So this led to Randy Orton. Or not Randy Orton. We'll get into Randy Orton later. We had AJ Styles versus Luke Harper for the #1 contendership for the WWE to determine who will face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. Really, really good match here. Got to see a lot out of Luke Harper, just the agility that this big guy has, the way he is able to move in and out of the ring. Styles, of course, still the best in the company today. He made Luke Harper look tremendous. There was a little bit of a botch on the ring apron, but they were able to recover nicely from that. Of course, we had Shane McMahon coming down, getting involved in this match, which my only gripe on this show is it's probably going to lead to Shane versus AJ, a match that I'm sorry, I just don't care about it. I know we're going to get there. I just feel, and we'll touch on Shane versus AJ in a minute. I'll save my thoughts for that in a minute, but going back to the match, Luke Harper versus AJ Styles, really, really great stuff. And surprisingly, like I said, Shane came down to the ring. Eventually, Luke Harper attempted to kick AJ, but he kicked Shane instead. And let me go back a little bit because I'm kind of telling this out of order. The reason that Shane came down to the ring was the fact that the ref counted 3, but Luke Harper's foot was on the rope, so that led to the match being restarted. There we go. Then Shane got kicked by Luke Harper, which led to AJ being able to capitalize. He threw Harper face first into the steel ring post, Styles connected with the springboard 450 splash to pick up the victory. We'll see where they go. Obviously, there's a lot of different moving pieces. Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Luke Harper. What do you feel about the match, the involvement of Shane, and where this title picture is headed?
Yeah, so first of all, the match was fantastic. So that was great. Now, the placement was weird. It was, to start the second hour of SmackDown. I am thinking this is going to be the main event match, but I see there are bigger plans for this Bray and Orton thing. It makes sense. But the match, yes, Luke Harper dominated the entire matchup almost about until Styles had, a few seconds to, get Harper down on his back and, kind of capitalize on that. However, Luke Harper looked great and Styles did a great job as well. I did notice the botch that you're talking about. Like you said, they did recover quickly and successfully after that.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, why end the match with, Luke Harper had his feet on the rope, so they ended the match. And I'm thinking that we're not going to get Shane. I'm thinking, this is just going to be another controversy thing where, we're going to put all three men in the match and then make it a triple threat. Because why not add Luke here? Shane comes out, restarts the match, but AJ Styles wins anyway. So I don't really understand that theory. But Luke Harper is showing to, you and me, and he's shown to hopefully everyone by now that that guy is a great in-ring worker. He can work with anyone. I mean, the smaller, the bigger, it doesn't matter. Luke can look like a little guy in a big guy body, and it's amazing to me. So I'm kind of unfortunate. I'm kind of disappointed that he's not going to be in the match. I don't know if they got different plans for Luke, because I want him to be involved in the great matchup at WrestleMania, and I thought it was going to be in that triple threat match because, like you said, it seemed like Shane is picking with AJ. So if AJ lost this match, I would say AJ and Shane are the plans for Mania. But now AJ is now involved with the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. Shane does not need to compete in the match if it's not at WrestleMania. So if it's not going to be Shane wrestling AJ, I don't think he will wrestle at this point at all.
I mean, I agree with you. We don't need to see Shane. I mean, think about it. You have Goldberg, Lesnar, Taker, Triple H, all going to be on WrestleMania. Do you honestly need Shane McMahon on that card? No, you don't. Now, you don't think there's any chance? I was thinking they had Harper kick Shane. You don't think that could lead to Luke Harper versus Shane McMahon at all, do you? Maybe. I don't know. If they wanted to, they could go in that direction. I don't think they're going to. I still think somehow we get AJ versus Shane McMahon, and I'm sorry, I just don't care. I just don't. AJ versus, or keep him in the title match. Do a Fatal 4-Way title match. Put Luke Harper in there somehow. That's what I'd rather see rather than AJ having a program with Shane that to me just feels forced. Doesn't really work. I mean, if you really want an opponent for AJ, call up Shinsuke Nakamura. He could have been called up day one. I mean, he's done enough in NXT. You want a big-time opponent. I mean, there's nothing stopping them from calling him up. You need an opponent for AJ Styles. He's in your company. Well, I don't get what is so hard about, okay, it'll be thrown together at last minute, but you could still make a big impact, have a big-time match, Nakamura versus AJ Styles rather than AJ versus a guy, Shane, no disrespect, for somebody who hasn't been wrestling for a long, long time. Remember, he got hurt at Survivor Series. Do you really want to see him potentially take the Styles Clash and get really messed up? I don't know how you feel about that, but I'd be worried if Shane. I mean, I know AJ would take care of him, but you never know what could go wrong,
Oh, absolutely. So, like you said, we don't need to see it. Now, if they have plans after Mania to do that with Styles, because, my prediction now will be I don't think Styles will win it at Mania. So if they want to continue on afterwards with Shane and AJ Styles, then I can kind of see that happening. Yeah.
It's next week certainly going to tell a lot, and we'll see where they go with this AJ Styles situation. We definitely will. We had Dean Ambrose come down for a quick match against who was it? What the hell is the jabroni's name? I don't know. I can't remember. Kurt Hawkins. So that he beat him. The match didn't even really take place. I don't think. Did the bell ring? I don't know. He freaking hit him with dirty deeds. Ambrose got on the mic. We had crazy Dean Ambrose. I like it. He's talking about all types of weird shit. He's a lunatic, and Baron Corbin comes up on the screen, and him and Corbin have a nice little verbal altercation. They go back and forth. Ambrose pretty much calls out Corbin. But Corbin is, of course, talking to him on the Titantron. He's backstage. But I really liked what Corbin had to say here to Dean Ambrose. He says that Ambrose wants a fight. That's too bad. He doesn't come out when Ambrose calls him out. And he said Ambrose cost him the WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber. And Corbin, he's a speed bump, says Ambrose is a speed bump on his way to the title. And now he's a deer standing in the highway. And Corbin says they have some similarities, him and Ambrose. Ambrose loves pain, and Corbin loves handing it out. And he says Ambrose better not cross the line. And Ambrose follows that up with, do not start that which you can't finish. Ambrose says that this is far, far from over. I really like the promo work here. I feel like Baron Corbin has come a long way. I feel like he will win that Intercontinental Championship when the match is made official between him and Dean Ambrose. I've enjoyed this feud. It's a one-on-one matchup. It's something fresh for WrestleMania. We haven't seen a one-on-one matchup for the Intercontinental Championship for quite a while. Jay, what did you feel about this little segment between Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin?
Yeah, let's not talk about the match, right? The Dirty Deeds that happened, that was it.
Yeah.
Corbin and Dean Ambrose most likely to go head-to-head at WrestleMania for the IC title, and I feel like that'll be Corbin's time to capture the championship belt. I was probably the only odd guy that picked Corbin to win at the Elimination Chamber. I just thought they were going to just twist everything up and just make us think that, this guy's not going to win. He's like a really dark horse, but, he's going to come out the woodworks and win the match. So that was crazy on me. But the IC title fits Corbin, and I think he's definitely going to take the title away from Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose doesn't need it. I think he's just no. He just keeps the title warm for the person who needs it. The next upcoming guy, which would definitely be Baron Corbin.
And then doing a little fantasy booking down the line, SmackDown has Money in the Bank. I could definitely see Corbin holding that IC championship and also being Mr. Money in the Bank. Have we ever seen somebody hold the IC title while being Mr. Money in the Bank? Imagine if he cashed in and won the WWE Championship while holding the Intercontinental Championship. You want to build this guy up big? I think that's one way of doing it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I could predict that happening because I predicted him to win at the Chamber, but the briefcase makes more sense. So, Daniel, I like that idea.
Thank you. I like to do that fantasy booking from time to time. Speaking of, let's talk about our third match of the evening. Another good chairs match. Wow. Back-to-back good chairs matches. I like the chairs match between Kalisto and Baron Corbin, and I like this chairs match between Dolph Ziggler and Apollo Crews. I like that Crews displayed more of his vicious side. None of that smiley, I'm happy to be here. I have no character or personality. That's the only thing Apollo Crews is missing. He's tremendous, phenomenal athlete. If he could just get that character down and pat, whether it's as a heel or properly booked babyface, I definitely see down the line, maybe in a couple of years, him being a future WWE champion. But first, he has to get that character. But I thought the match between him and Ziggler was a solid chairs match. A lot of good stuff, a lot of good usage of the chair. I like when the chair went into Apollo Crews' throat. He was really selling that. And Ziggler was, of course, able to capitalize after that. Hit the drop toe hold that, like I said, sent Crews throat first to the steel chair. Ziggler placed Crews' crotch first onto the chair. That looked really painful. And Ziggler was able to pick up the victory. Afterwards, Ziggler laid some talking smack, no pun intended, to the prone Apollo Crews. I thought this was a solid chairs match, one of the better ones we've seen lately. What did you feel? How did you feel about this chairs match, Jay?
I thought, Daniel, I thought it was a good match. What needed to happen was Dolph Ziggler to win the match because he lost a handicap match at Elimination Chamber. So that was good. The placement was fine. I thought, what they did with Ziggler in the end, just me mugging him, telling him, I beat guys like you who come up in my face. Ziggler is a heel, and I love it when he's a heel. Babyface is fine too, but Ziggler has that look, that attitude, that hair, and it just makes me just want to like Ziggler more. I like heel, so maybe that's just me. But Ziggler is great in the ring, and I think what's upcoming for him should be a championship shot. IC title. Once, but if Corbin wins, I don't see two heels going at it. But right now, Dean Ambrose and Dolph, I want to see, but it seems like Corbin's going to get that spot. But Ziggler will be placed in the important spots, I feel like, on SmackDown when needed. And of course, like you said about Apollo Crews, the guys on my show think he needs to go back down to NXT, and I had to agree. If it's just the character thing, then he needs to go back down for the character because NXT can use the help. And Apollo Crews is one of those guys on my show that we mentioned should go back down to NXT, really redevelop his character.
Exactly. I felt like they called Apollo Crews up way too soon. He could have still been on NXT, and I felt like, use that experience to his advantage. You call him up too early. Think about it. They really have had nothing for him to do. I mean, he had shots at the Intercontinental Championship, but that kind of went nowhere. Then he kind of was directionless. It's a shame. I really wish he was still on NXT. You can make the case for other talent too. Don't call them up till they're ready. It's weird. They call up people that aren't ready, yet they have people down there that I feel that are ready, like a Nakamura or, somebody else, like Joe, who was down there for very long, or Balor, who was down there for way too long, in my opinion. To me, it's just weird. These guys are getting older, and you want to call them up the sooner the better, and the guys that need to be down there longer, keep them down there. You only have one good chance to make a first impression. After that, it's going to be a lot tougher to, win the audience back. So I want to see Apollo Crews succeed, and I know he will. Like you said, he just has to find that character. And once he's got that, I think he'll be fine. But speaking of, let's talk about this ending, this main event segment, what they call it, the Bray Wyatt Invocation. This was phenomenal stuff. This reminded me a little bit. I don't know if you guys remember. We're going in the time machine. We're going back to the Royal Rumble, 1998, when The Undertaker was locked inside a coffin and Kane lit the coffin on fire. Had vibes going back to that. That was awesome, and this was certainly awesome as well. So we had Bray Wyatt, your WWE champion, come down to the ring. He pretty much says Styles will end up like all of the rest. When the bell rings, Styles is going to feel the spirit of Beelzebub. And Bray, he said, comes from hollow ground. It comes from a place that starts in the earth, and it continues until you get to the core. Bray also comes from a place that Randy Orton is now. Orton appears on the Titantron, and Orton pretty much says Orton is in Bray's kingdom. He is in the, the shack, the little Wyatt we'll call it the Wyatt family compound, because that's what it is. And Orton here pretty much says, I'm going to burn this sumbitch to the ground. He says Sister Abigail is buried beneath here. And he takes gasoline to the whole thing, and he torches it, and he says he's coming after Bray Wyatt for WrestleMania. The visual of Orton posing behind the Wyatt family compound was just great storytelling. Just really got me invested in seeing in whatever direction, whether it's the triple threat with Styles, Orton, Wyatt, or Luke Harper thrown in there. We'll see where they go with that. This really made me want to see what type of match they have planned for WrestleMania. Hell, the way they've been building this up, maybe you could add a Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship. I mean, this has really gotten personal really fast. I love the personal aspect. Bray just being unhinged, losing his mind. I mean, it was great stuff. What a fucking great way to close out a great episode of SmackDown. Jay, what did you feel about this segment, the Bray Wyatt Invocation, with Orton burning the Wyatt family compound to the ground? I mean, just wow.
Well, it had to happen sooner enough, right? So it was Randy Orton saying, I once said, if you can't beat him, join him again. Screw him. He's screwing Bray, right? He just burnt down the shack, or what are you going to call it? Sister Abigail was buried underneath there. And, of course, the outside, he, of course, put more gasoline on there and then lit it up. And this, and I just love, can I give credit to Bray right here? Because Bray showed so much emotion in the ring, so much anger. I mean, he really poured out, he was just sobbing, tearing up, and then he flipped out at the announce table. He was banging his head on things. Bray Wyatt, so that we have never, if you can tell me, seen Bray Wyatt with so emotion and let someone get to him just like Randy Orton did. Never have I.
No. I mean, the closest I can think of is, and it's not even on the same level, when Dean Ambrose destroyed his rocking chair. But even then, he didn't go that ape shit. He's like, okay, I lost my rocking chair. But this time, you're right. The facials, great selling by Bray Wyatt, as he should. You burn his compound to the ground. That's what happens, right? That's how you would react if you were him. I agree. I agree with you.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Oh, Daniel, if this means, wow, I don't know. Does this mean? I think I just seen it on Twitter from one of my coaches. Does Shane pull AJ Styles away from the title scene, and now do we get Randy Orton one-on-one with Bray, or do we get the triple threat? I don't know what the plans are because of course, Randy Orton did confirm that I'm coming after your title at WrestleMania. So I don't know if it's needed to have a triple threat. Make it a fatal four with Luke. Do one-on-one. You still have different ideas. You can branch out different ideas. But you still got about 4.5 weeks, like you mentioned in the beginning of the show, until Mania. So what the real plan is, I don't know. But this just sparked something in Bray, and I think Bray will get his revenge before Mania. And they're coming after each other, and I like it. Okay, they can go personal, and I think Bray should get Randy Orton back. Just as hard.
What I love is we don't know. I love when it's like this. What are they going to do next? It's unpredictable. I mean, predictability can be good, but I like when we don't know what's going to happen next week. And why? Because that gets us the tune into SmackDown next week. I'm excited for SmackDown next week. I thought this was one of the best episodes in a while, and it just blew Raw. It's no comparison. Raw, in my opinion, D show. SmackDown, in my opinion, I'm giving, for my grade for SmackDown tonight, I'm giving this an A. An A for SmackDown tonight, because to me there was nothing bad on this show at all. Jay, what letter grade would you give SmackDown tonight?
I will have to go A. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying to be over nice, but everything from the beginning to the show to the end of the show was just great. And this is a good SmackDown. I haven't seen one. I mean, I know SmackDown normally delivers more than Raw, like you guys say, and I'm usually not watching SmackDown, so I just take some people's word for it, or I'll take my word for it. SmackDown was an A.
Yes.
How good can it get? Okay, it was just an A.
Once again, 2 hours versus 3 hours. Raw has that extra hour to fill, so they figure, we'll just we'll waste time. It's not like we have a pay-per-view to go home on Sunday or WrestleMania in 5 weeks. I don't like that attitude, and that's exactly what we got on Monday. On tonight, like I said, this show had purpose. This show flowed. Not only was SmackDown better because it's 2 hours, it's because they made the best use of that time, utilizing their best resources. No fluff, no filler, good writing, advancing characters. This is a wrestling show. Raw, I don't know what you are anymore. Pretty much becoming a waste of time. I'm so aggravated with Raw right now, and it's just nice to come on here and not bitch and complain the entire review, because I'll go back to what JBL said. Look at this. I'm praising the show. I don't want to complain about the show. But when your 3-hour show sucks, that's why I say it should go back to 2 hours. So I'll keep going back to what JBL and Paul Heyman said on that network special. Raw should be 2 hours, just like SmackDown. But closing things out here, anything else, Jay, you want to say before we go off the air?
No, I think we hit everything. I'm excited to see what's next. Of course, SmackDown doesn't have a pay-per-view, but they have every week to build up their storylines heading to WrestleMania, and I'm excited to what they do.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Jay, thank you for joining me. Before we go off the air here, you can get a plug in for your channel.
Yeah, guys, if you guys want to just follow our show, subscribe to our channel. We're on YouTube as well. It's Talking WWE with Jay, and you can find us there. Thanks a lot, Daniel, for that.
Not a problem, not a problem. And thank you for tuning in, everybody who was watching in the live chat. It was great to have you a part of this. Just want to remind you guys, in 2 weeks' time, SmackDown Live is coming to my city, the Steel City, and I will be live in attendance. You might even see me on TV, so I will be really looking forward to that. It's only 2 weeks away. I cannot wait to go to my second ever episode of SmackDown Live. It's been a long time. It's been over 5 years since I've been to SmackDown, but I know if we're getting episodes like this, I know it's going to be a really good episode. So that is it, guys, from a SmackDown Live review. Remember to click my like and subscribe button for more video content coming soon to this channel. I will be back up tomorrow to answer questions for my Q&A video. Like I said, you can still ask questions in my open Q&A video form. You can find that video. It's posted a couple videos before this one. like I said, I will be answering questions tomorrow, Wednesday. So look forward to answering those questions that you guys posed. That is it, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the SmackDown Live review, and I'll catch you guys on the other side. Take care.